See, you moved so much you lost the filter.
Oh, I got the filter. I got the filter. はい、皆さんこんにちは。今日は今年こそ英語を最短でマスターする脳の騙し方をお届けしていきたいと思います。So you have a hard time understanding the concept of how to trick your brain. What is that?
Maybe I just don't understand the concept fully on how to trick your brain. Maybe because I'm always so positive.
Have you heard an expression called fake it until you make it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
That's what we are talking about.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to go into the concept of fake it until you make it?
Just also pretend like you're a good listener. Right? I think it's also helping you fake it.
Why does that have to do with it? So actually fake it until you make it, right? So that's the fastest way to master English.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you're not confident, then your performance will be degraded, right? So that's why it's, the most important thing is to have confidence in you. But in order to have a confidence in you, when you haven't been able to speak in English, all you can do is trick your brain, right?
So fake it.
Yeah, exactly. Fake it. Now you understand?
Yeah.
So you are the expert in faking it. So do you want to share the the tips?
As I first said, it's make sure that you're a good listener. Okay.
So that's the part that I'm having a hard time. Like, why
because
it has to be a good listener?
People think that, I'm going to be having a conversation.
Oh, I see. Oh, now I get it.
Right?
I was so slow.
I know, right? Right? Because you can have a conversation and not say anything, basically. Sometimes. Because most of the times you have conversations with people that are higher than you, right? They like to talk and they like to listen to themselves talk. Like some people I know very close to me right now. So just listen. Sometimes you can have a whole conversation and somebody will think you're fluent in a language and you haven't said a word.
超面白い。Yeah, that's right. I remember 私が英語があんまりできなかった時に使ってた How to make friends with native English speakers was to be a good, understanding, generous listener for any complaint.
Right, exactly. And I'll give you an example too about, for instance, I would have some people you spoke Japanese, mainly English, right? But most of them were bilingual. And so David Schaefer would do this a lot too. He'd be talking to him about something in English, and sometimes they would go, "Oh, you know what they say in Japanese," blah, 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 blah. And I'd go, yep. And then the conversation would go on, right? Everything, so, and half the time I might understand it a little bit after I thought about it for a while, but the other half I didn't understand it. But I would just go, yeah.
Is it okay for you to talk this like on camera? On record? I'm worried about your reputation now.
I know, right? But no, those kind of things happen.
Is that how you survived 3 decades in finance?
Right, so that's why I'm saying lots of times you don't have to say anything. You just have to pretend to listen.
Whoa.
And understand. Right? So,
see, that's the technique that I couldn't use as an interpreter, right? Because I had to say it.
Exactly.
But to be able to master in English at the end of this year, I think it sounds like your technique is the most relevant.
And then also, the other thing is that sometimes lots of times my Japanese is slower, right? So I would just nod and say I understood, and then I would figure it out like 10 seconds later what they just said.
Not 10 seconds later. Only after I answer and then explain what really happened. Not your imagination.
No, I'm talking about other instances, not with you. I'm talking about like at work, right?
Okay,
right?
Interesting.
I'm using real life work examples here.
And I'm demonstrating it right now.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, you moved so much you lost the filter.
Filter back.
See, that's all karma. It's karma. That's how you trick yourself and you trick groups into believing that you are bilingual.
And at the same time, you also trick your brain that you are a fluent English speaker.
Right. Exactly.
And then the reason why I want to emphasize this is because when I was a professional interpreter, I am, but like I don't practice it as often. I don't need to, so I don't. But anyway, when I was doing that, I always told myself I'm the best interpreter. And the more I did, the better I became.
Right.
And the less I did, the horrible I became. So it had nothing to do with the actual skill sets that I had.
Right.
It was more about the mindset that I had, right? Because like when you play sports, it's possible that you lose or win, right?
Right.
And that's like so driven by, so determined by the level of the confidence.
Right. Exactly.
So that's the reason why even if you want to master English, your level of confidence is so very, very critical.
You know what's the best for learning what kind of confidence is? Irrational confidence is the
Which
best.
you're really extremely good at.
Right. So, right, rational confidence you might think too much. Irrational confidence, you have to not think when you want to.
So how do you think our listeners can do that? Can fake it more easily when they don't think they speak English well?
I think it's also just understanding, listening, and then also understanding when to interject. Okay. It's also, a lot of it's timing.
So what I would say is that maybe you simulate the conversation ahead of time.
Yeah,
right?
I always simulate. Even in English, I simulate.
Yeah. So therefore, I think a lot of our listeners that do that, like in Japanese. So why don't you do that, like for English conversations? Even though you may think that in Japanese, I don't for the daily conversations, but for business occasions or any other special occasions, you do. So that means that the English speaking occasions are special.
Right.
Enough so that I think you should
but
rehearse.
What's important for that rehearsing is great, okay, but then what do you have to do to take advantage of that situation? You have to listen and wait and be patient for it,
and wait for the right moment to come.
Right.
I'm listening.
Okay.
For a change.
Exactly. Yeah. Whoa. That's why I was like, what's going on?
Without the filter.
What's wrong with
I got the filter. I got the filter. Did you see the difference? Now I have the filter. Because I waited patiently for the moment to come. ということで今日はフィルターありとないでどれぐらいデイビッドと私のね肌が違って見えるのかも分かりかつ脳の騙し方を分かっていただけた素晴らしい神回になったんではないかというふうに思います。
Also, that's another good point is that I understood what you were going to say, but I didn't actually understood every word that you said while you were saying it, right? So it's also understanding the moment and what that person's going to say, but not actually and pretending like you understand it because you understand the feeling of what they're saying, not actually the words that they're saying.
Exactly.
So that's also how you trick your brain.
なんでこれね最後に exactly っていうのをつけていただいたら絶対うまくいきますから今年こそ英語を最短でマスターする脳の騙し方でございました。おめでとうございます。まあ冗談も交えてはいましたけれどもなんか本質をついたところもすごくあったんじゃないかなと思います。
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it was a very interesting topic. でもちろんインカンテーションで I can speak English fluently と何度も言っていただくこともプラスになるんですけれども今日デイビッドがね言っていただいたことも
Forces me to look deep within myself and be truly honest with myself. How did I fake it? For 30 years.
はい、ということで、今日はだからそういう意味でね何回も見直していただいてデイビッドが本当に世界で一番最大手ってずっと言われ続けてたね銀行でこうねずっと幹部を務めることができたその秘訣までね今日は学べた回になったと思いますしやっぱり脳を騙していくってそういうことか別に根拠のない自信でいいんだっていうところも腑に落としていただけてたら本当に嬉しいです、そして私の肌が今綺麗に見えてるのはなんだフィルターなんだっていうのもバレたねっていう感じでございますけれどもそれはそれで 脳を騙す、うまく騙せたらこういう綺麗な肌になれるのよということで、そこも楽しんでいただけたらというふうに思います。ぜひ皆さんも感想や、ご自身が学んでいただいたこと、そしてその結果どうなったのかもぜひお知らせいただけたら嬉しいです。それでは Have an amazing day and see you in the next video. またね、バイ。